Okay.
Well, welcome to you guys. This is our first coaching call. Franco Capanera is here and Franco Russo. Franco Russo is working, so he's just listening in. Franco Capanera is here. Santino is in Mar del Plata on his holidays, so he can't join us right now. But we're going to have our first coaching call. This is not really a training call. A training call would be where I speak all the time and I basically explaining a bunch of things. I will do always the majority of the talking, I mean, even in the coaching call, but the coaching call is more interactive. You can ask questions. I'll ask questions from you, but it has some value for not just you, but for other people that might say, oh, I couldn't be at the meeting, but I watched the recording on the YouTube channel. And so for them, there may be some value in listening to your questions and my answers, right, to your questions. And so it's always good to ask questions and get answers. And also I will be explaining some things, giving some updates, giving some context, the typical coaching type of thing, because, this is part of the city director program. And I want to give you some updates. But anyway, how are you doing, Franco? Are you doing good?
Yeah, I'm really good. I've been reading for the past hour, I think.
Reading.
Really good.
Okay, great,
Yeah.
great. What are you reading right now?
The quadrant of the mind. Oh, I don't know how to say.
Yeah, how do you say it in
Quadrant.
English? We call it cash flow quadrant from
The cash flow quadrant.
yeah, from Robert Kiyosaki.
Kiyosaki. Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Very famous. You mentioned that to me last time that you had gotten that book in Spanish and you're reading it in Spanish, right? So you're in Miami, right? You're in Argentine, but you're reading in Miami. Franco's Argentine, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Franco's Argentine as well. He also lives in Miami. Santino is Argentine, but he lives in Argentina, wanting to go to Miami in a year or so. And so this business will help him do that. But yeah, let's just start with that. I like the idea that you're reading those kinds of books. Remember, I had told you this, but I want to repeat it for the people who are maybe just watching the coaching right now, is that whenever, you start a business, and for some people, they're young like you and Franco and Santino, and other people have started business before. So for some people, this may be obvious, but for some people may not be. So let me say a few things about that. People who are successful in life are disciplined people. Okay, they organize themselves. They get things done. They more or less have a management of their day, right? And we talked about using the Google Calendar, which you can put it's right on your Gmail. You just use Google Calendar. You put your meetings and your schedules in there. You don't miss meetings. If you can at all help it, you try not to miss the meetings. You know which ones are the important ones. You schedule it. You make it work. You organize your time. You try to use your time effectively towards a goal. Okay, so people who are successful manage their time. People who are successful also manage their money, and you and I have already talked about how to run a budget. I may have another session where we talk about that again for the new people, right? I already did it with you, but you and I can do it again, and we can record it, and that might be a helpful training for somebody, right? In terms of how do I run a budget? What software do I use? We just use Excel, but you can use a software if you have it. There's lots of different things that you can do. But running a budget is important. You've got to know what money is coming in and especially what money is going out if you're going to be a businessman. You should do that even just personally, right? So that's number one, is you got to manage your time. So number two is you got to manage your money. And then number three, you have to manage your, I would say, your emotions and your mentality. And that's what you're doing with the reading. So that's fantastic. I mean, you're already an entrepreneur, because that's what entrepreneurs do. Entrepreneurs love to read, Robert Kiyosaki and Cash Flow Quadrant. And, there's lots of good books to read, but getting into the reading habit is really important, right? So,
yeah,
good for you. Now, I would add to that is some people don't like to read. I would say learn to read, because reading is fantastic. But if you don't want to read, or in addition to reading, and I don't know if you've done this yet, I mentioned it to you, but you can go to YouTube And you can watch on YouTube a lot of motivational videos, 15 minutes long, 20 minutes long. You can do it every day. I do it when I exercise. I just put YouTube on and I watch a motivational video. Now, who I listen to mostly is Jim Rohn, R-O-H-N,
I remember
Jim
him.
Rohn. Yeah, he's very good. He's very good, very down to earth, very practical. But all of these guys, there's lots of them, Les Brown, you can listen to, even Denzel Washington has some good ones, but all of the successful people in the world will tell you, hey, you got to be disciplined towards a goal, right? You're not just disciplined for discipline's sake, but discipline towards a goal. It's like you and Frank will go to the gym after this meeting. You guys will go to the gym. Okay, good for you. It's disciplined with your body, but you also have to be disciplined with your mind. Now, part of that is maybe the fourth thing we talked about, managing your time. And then we talked about managing your money. And we can get into more detail with that stuff in an actual training. Right now, we're just kind of doing an overview. And then we talk about managing your mind, what they often call mindset, right? How you think and your emotions, and the commitment to discipline. And then number 4 is that you have to learn how to manage your goals. Now, if you learn those 4 things, right, and there might be a 5th thing you can add to it, but if you learn those 4 things, man, there's nothing that's going to stop you. And so you're doing good. Franco, I guess that's what I'm saying. I just kind of explaining this to other people who may not,
you just have to
this,
start watching the motivational videos again.
Oh, they're fantastic, right?
I'll start tomorrow.
They keep you focused, right? They keep you focused, right?
I'm going to update right now my calendar so that I know.
Good. So, hey, whenever you say I'm going to do something, stick it in your calendar. Exactly. On your phone or on your desktop, on Gmail, whatever it is that you use. There's lots of different apps, and you can use lots of different things. But when I go through my day, I know when my meetings are. I don't miss my meetings. I don't double schedule. You've got to get out of the personal mentality and into the business mentality. Not to say that you can't schedule personal time. You can say, oh, look, I work from Monday to Friday, and if you have a normal job, well, you have a normal job, but you can also say, well, but every day when I get back from my job at 5 o'clock, from 5 to 8, I do my business. And then from 8 to 9, I go and do my exercise. And then from 9 to 11, I do my business again. So I get 4 hours in every day. Or whatever, or no, I can't do it during the week because that's family time. And so I spend 10 hours on Saturday and Sunday, and I do it on Saturday and Sunday, whatever, you have to find the time, you have to schedule the time, and you have to make the time, and when you do that, you start to see success, right? So, and what I'm trying to do with my trainings, as I think I've mentioned in the trainings, I upload the trainings for GDC and the City Director Program to my YouTube channel, which if you are coming to this kind of a coaching session, you probably already know what that is and you've already subscribed. But if not, that's easy enough to get that information from me. And I have one for Orbit, because we really have 2 companies, right? GDC, which is one company, and Orbit's another company. And really, the City Director Program covers both of them, right? Both of these are part of the City Director Program. But really, GDC is what invented the City Director Program, especially with Yellow Pages, right? AiYellow and Yellow Pages. So, but what I wanted to say was in this coaching call is that getting your time organized, your money organized, and your brain organized, your mind organized is absolutely fantastic. But without a purpose, you're not going to be motivated. The discipline won't happen without purpose. You go to the gym with a purpose. Hey, I want to look buff, I want to lose weight, I want to, whatever it is that you want to do. I want to, I want the girls to whistle at me, kisses, I don't know, whatever.
I want the girls to whistle at me.
I don't know. That's actually a little bit weird, but anyway. But whatever your motivation is, you have a purpose, right? You go to the gym because you want to accomplish something, right?
Yeah.
I know. And so you always have to have a purpose. You have to keep that purpose clear in mind. Now, what's interesting is that today, and I haven't uploaded it yet, I created a video called the 90-Day Story. Now, I'm not going to say everything that I said in the 90-Day Story, but it has to do with goals, with what your objectives are. Now, you can have big objectives like, what's the objective of my life? even some business objectives like I want to make $10,000 a month within a year or 2 years or 3 years or whatever. All of that is very doable, by the way, even within 1 year. But it depends on your work ethic. It depends on the work that you do. Without work, you have no results. But in order to work, you have to have the right mindset and you have to organize yourself, right? And you got to get some training, right? And you got to learn, and you got to be patient. You got to be patient with yourself, patient with the process, but don't lose time. Make every day count towards your goal, right? And so that's really what I'm trying to say today. So I'm uploading this video called the 90-day story. And what I'm suggesting in that video, and I'll suggest it here as well, is that having a 90-day story of your first 90 days is the motor that will make you all kinds of money in life. You know, I tell this story in the video, but I'm going to tell you the story as well. You know, a number of years ago, 10, 15 years ago, I guess maybe closer to 15 years ago, I was working in a program, in an MLM program, network marketing program. And that was when I first heard about the 90-day story. And you can use it in MLM, you can use it in all of life, in any kind of a business that you do, right? And so they said, what you do in your first 90 days will motivate all the rest of the people you talk to from now on. Because all of them, they don't really care if you're a guru. They don't really care if you're a millionaire. They get it, you just started. They want to know that you are a normal person with a story. Now, if you're a normal person and in the first 90 days you did nothing, you have nothing to say. You have no testimony. Okay? You know, if we were doing this meeting right now and Franco Russo was your new guy and Franco was listening, and what he would want to know is, okay, Franco Capanera, you know, you've been in the business for 90 days. You know, how are you doing? He wants to know how you're doing. Now, if you don't do anything for 90 days, well, you're not doing very well. What do you have to say? You have nothing to say, right? And so, you know, what you want to do is you want to create a 90-day story for your first 90 days. You want to take it serious. You want to get committed. You want to get organized, and you want to make something happen. And then you set some goals for 90 days. And so in that video, I talk about the goals that you can set for the GDC side and the goals that you can set for the orbit side. And if you accomplish those goals, and neither one is all that difficult, but they're goals, right? And they're pretty good. And if you accomplish those goals in the first 90 days, you will blow people away. You will have people coming to you and joining whatever you do. And the money will just flow to you. I'm telling you, let me finish my story. So 15 years ago, when I first heard about this, I said, okay, well, I'll work hard for 90 days, right? For me, it was also like, well, okay, I'll give it 90 days and see if it actually works, you know, myself. But I'm the kind of guy that, you know, I don't just sit around and wait and watch other people do it. No. If it's going to work, it's because I work, right? And if after 90 days I don't make a pile of money, then, you know, then I'll just quit, honestly. But it's not really fair after 90 days not doing anything, and then you say, oh, it doesn't work. Well, that's stupid. You didn't do anything. You know, that's not on the company, that's on you, right? So, I mean, that's how I look at it. So I said, okay, well, the company looked good. A friend of mine was doing it. He asked me to join him. I said, okay, I'll give you 90 days. I'll work really hard for 90 days. I'll do everything that you tell me to do in 90 days. And I made a lot of money in 90 days. In fact, my best 2 weeks of that 90 days, in 2 weeks, I made $40,000. I still have a photocopy of the check somewhere. I was looking for it the other day because I photocopied the check, because of course the check has to go to the bank, right? So I photocopied it, so I have a photocopy of it. I can't find it right now, but I'm going to see if I can find it. But I made more than $40,000, but my best 2 weeks of that 90 days was $40,000. And from then on, the rest of the year, I made over $100,000 more. Okay, I had a good year. Because from then on, anybody asks me, they say, well, Bert, how are you doing? Well, I'm doing really good, you know. well, how did you do in your first 90 days? Because everybody wants to know the first 90 days. Well, I made, at that time, I tell them the story of the $40,000, but I think in total I made 60. But for a 2-week period of time, I made 40 because you have to build it up. You have to learn, you have to, train, you have to think. So not really my last week, but in my third month, I think it was the middle 2 weeks, I made $40,000 because they paid you every 2 weeks. And wow. And so every time I told that story, everybody went, wow, well, okay, so then I can do it. Yeah, you can do it. And then my business just kept on growing. So having that 90-day story, fantastic. But you get that because you're disciplined and committed to your goals. And so what I do is I establish in the video, and I'm going to upload the video tonight, so you can probably watch it later tonight or tomorrow.
Great.
Right?
Yeah, I watched it today.
Watch it and go over it more than once. But I think it's one of the best videos I've done so far because it's about the 90-day story, and it's great. It's great. And so then I go into the details. So watch that. Watch that. And then what you can do is you can implement that yourself. And we will be talking about the 90-day story, quite a bit. But let me also talk just about one other thing. We're running out of time already with Zoom. I have to see what I do about that next time. But if we get cut off, we get cut off, and so be it. And then we'll just continue on Thursday. Okay, so we don't have to come back if we get cut off. And then I'll have to just get the upgraded version so that we can talk for an hour instead of for only 40 minutes. I didn't know that was a problem.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Okay, so if we get cut off, we just continue on later. Okay, so here's the thing, and I'm now talking to you guys as new entrepreneurs, and I want you to think about something, because you asked me the other day, well, okay, but I don't want to lose my money. Well, you're not going to lose your money with me. I told you that we're friends. I'm not going to let you lose the money. But more than that, I want you to think about this business that you're doing in a different way than most people. It's a good coaching point, and I want you to kind of think about this a little bit. I call it creating value. Now, here's the thing I want you to think about. I always look at things from the worst case scenario. Let's say, for the sake of argument, that you don't make any money with me. You don't do, we don't get the job done. We don't build the orbit side. We don't build the GDC side. For some strange reason, the whole thing doesn't work.
That won't happen, but okay.
It won't happen because, frankly, I don't choose businesses to do that don't work. I'm very good at this stuff, but but let's say, I'm trying to look at the worst case scenario. Still, what do you have? You have 2 or 3 things that are very valuable. I mean, you do not leave empty-handed ever in business. Number one, you have the training. And this kind of training is worth its weight in gold. You know that you normally would pay $5,000, or $1,000 a month or $2,000 a month to a mentor and a coach to get this kind of training. Okay, so normally the training is very expensive, and you're getting that as part of your package here as part of the City Director program. So that's pretty important, actually. So let's say we do this for a year, and after a year, you did all the little micro things that I asked you to do. We had our coaching sessions. We talked. We implemented. We tried. It did not work out. Look, if it doesn't work out, I'll go with you. We'll go do something else. It doesn't matter, because the issue is not just what we do; it's who you do it with. So if you say to me, Bert, I want to learn from you. Okay, you want to learn from me, and I'm your coach and I'm your mentor. If we have a business that fails, because businesses fail in the world, right? In life, not everything is successful. This one, I believe, is going to be very successful, but who knows? Maybe all the principal people in this business all get shot by terrorists, or they get hit by a tsunami and they all die. Well, that would you can't control. That's stupid, but you can't control life. Things happen in life. Maybe the business gets regulated out of existence. Crypto is worried about that right now. I don't think that will happen either with crypto, but it could. The government
is really bad lately.
It's kind of weird things happening right now, but you can't control the future. So it's not always only about making a profit. I think that's important. I think you have to make a profit, otherwise why would you bother, right? But also in this process, don't get too caught up with, okay, but it has to be this one thing. No, it's not about the thing that you're doing, especially in the early years. It's about who you're doing it with and what you're learning and what the coaching is like, what the mentoring is like. And so, although we want to make a profit, and we will, I want you to realize that there's a lot of value in the process. Okay, that's number one. Number two, okay, can you imagine, just saying, okay, just saying, can you imagine, let's say you worked with me for 2 or 3 years, you made some money, you decided to move on, and you no longer want to work with me. And now you're trying to get a job. Okay, let's say, I find that hard to believe, especially for you, Franco, because you were such an entrepreneur, you're probably never going to get a job. But if you needed to get a job, or if you needed to present yourself to another business opportunity, wouldn't it be wonderful to be able to say, yes, I was the city director of Jacksonville, Florida, and I had 10 people under me, and they would look at you and they would say, how old are you? Seriously, man, seriously, you want this on your resume, okay?
Yeah, I do.
You want this on your resume. You don't have to tell them how well it went or how well it didn't go, but no, I was a city director for Jacksonville for GDC and Orbit, and two companies, two international companies that were moving into the United States, and I helped them to get established. But I've decided to expand my horizons and go in a bit of a different direction. But yes, I'm 22, and you were in charge of your own business, and you had people that you were responsible for. Yes, is that a problem? No, we want to hire you, like right now, So
you're hired.
Yeah, you're hired, man. I'm not telling you to go get a job because frankly, you're not that kind of guy, nor am I that kind of guy. But I'll tell you, it looks pretty good on your resume to be able to say you were the city director of Jacksonville or Miami or Tampa or Orlando, whatever it is. That's a great way to start your entrepreneurial career. That's my point. I mean, you're starting good, because normally what do? Normally you go get a dumb job and in order to pay your bills, and then you got to work up from there and you got to work up to the next one. Right now, what you're doing is you're jumping into a leadership position, but only because I believe in you. Okay. Now you're paying some money, obviously, too, but if somebody came to me, and I've had some people already came to me and they were not entrepreneurs and they didn't have any ambition and they were not capable of being disciplined. I don't care about the age. I care about the character. But I've had a couple of people, difficult people, actually both of them women, difficult people, and they just were not entrepreneurs. They couldn't handle change. They say, oh, but it always changes, and then new things come up, and I'm going, my goodness, lady, you're never going to make it. You're never going to make it. I'm not saying names or anything, but you're never going to make it, because an entrepreneur has to be able to handle change. They have to be able to handle some pressure. They have to be able to get the job done. They have to be able to take initiative. And the reason why you guys have this opportunity is because I see that spark in you, and I know that I can teach you the rest. I can teach you the rest, but nobody can teach you to have the spark. You either have it or you don't have it. You know what I'm saying, right? You got it or you don't got it, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I look for people who have it, and if you also already have lots of experience, well, okay, welcome to the team. But if you're young and you say, well, I've got the spark and I'm willing to work hard, but I don't know what I don't know and I need to learn. Well, learning is easy. But getting somebody who takes the initiative, who gets things done, who moves, right? Who I don't always have to say, hey, come on. Who are telling me, come on. I like that much better, right? That kind of a person will be successful. And the rest is just knowledge. I can teach them the ropes and how you do this and how you do that and how you do the third thing. But if a person is always saying to me, no, I can't do this, no, I can't do that, they're always finding excuses, it's just not going to happen. Now, you three that I'm starting with, you have the spark. Now, you still have to do the work, but you've got what it takes. Now you have to organize your life. You kind of have to get your life in order, right? You got to find the time, you got to find the money, you got to figure it out. And when you find the right person, here's another point that's actually quite interesting, is when you find the right person, then you find a way. If you find the right person, you will find a way to make it work. You'll figure out where the money comes from. I'll help you. You know, we have some ways of helping. You know, if you say, I don't know if I have enough time, doesn't matter. You start slower and we build you up, right? We'll find a way if you find the right person. And that's really key, right? And you're the right person. Franco Russo's the right person. Santino's the right person. I've got 3 or 4 more that are coming on board. They're the right people too. Okay.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's my job, right? I'm going to be bringing on more and more people, right? So, and so this group, I mean, we're starting today with just the 2 of you and myself. It's our very first one. And then, you know, the other people will be joining. I also invited the people from Aruba to also join us.